Hello everyone, Achain over here, and as you always know, if you like my videos, you can just like them and also subscribe in one of the casts that is somewhere. So let's begin this video. This video is going to be a recap of everything that you want to know as a Subletly Rogue in 10.2, the patch that comes tomorrow for NA and in 2 days for EU. So I'm going to go in, not in depth of course, but across everything. So we will talk about gear, trinkets, embellishments, talents, and maybe a little bit of the rotation and changes, but just at the end. So if you already watched my other videos and just kept in touch with all the PTR news, you can just skip that part when I say I'm going to talk about the rotation. I will do another video with the explanations for single target later. I already did the Mythic Plus ones. If you want to check them, they will be somewhere up there. There are 3 different ones, and you can just play whichever you want more. So let's begin with the easiest things that we want to know. So what do we want to know? There's a new tierset. It's really good. Try to get it as soon as possible. It's one of the strongest tiersets that we have ever had in this expansion, and of course in the other ones. It makes our finishers proc sometimes, the Eviscerate, Rupture, and Black Powder, with a Shadow Clone that does 70% of the damage as additional shadow damage, and also the Forset is 20% extra damage to our clones. Those include the Secret Technique clones that also makes us get 2 combo points every time this procs. There's a really cool weak aura that we have. You can check it out in the description. It tells when it's going to proc or if it's procced. And also just to know, there are some mechanics that are with that. That means also that we get 4 combo points when we use Secret Technique and 2 combo points when we proc on the other things. Now, as for gear, most likely we will be using the Spore Cloak, and depending on the damage intake that we are going to take, we are going to craft the 90% silk linen that you can see here, get some mastery, or the shadow tempered, in this case patch. It just does damage and we take some damage. It's kind of neutral, some things. Of course, if you are a super sweaty gamer and already have the boots and other things, and you want to have a strong weak one craft, you can craft the Thorn or Slimy Explosion boots, because we already have an item with toxic properties, and it's going to be a little bit better for like 1 week while you get gear or something like that. But there's also a cadence that you want to know with crafted gear, that it's 4 upgrades. So if you have 4 upgrades elsewhere and other things, you may want to use those. Now, what do you want to craft first? I really recommend to craft a helmet with linen or shadow temperate, whatever you want. Why? Because all the helmets that we have in this season and the last one are completely bad for subtlety. They are haste based, it's our worst stat, and also the tierset is haste mastery again, of course, so it's not good. So you craft the helmet, 486 helmet with linen or other things, and it's going to last you super long, because even if you try to get the mythic helmet from the raid or other places, it's going to be way weaker. And of course, the Spore Cloak, it's the back slot, so even if it's strong, it's not as strong as going from 47 to a linen helmet. Of course, you see here that I have engineering helmet, but that's also because eventually you may want to get an engineering helmet instead, because also on the belt and on boots we may have some items that are not as good with a lot of haste or something like that. You can just choose one of those and equip. Now, as for trinkets, we have a plethora that we can use. With the dust build, that is the one that is seeming the most, the good trinkets are branch, signet, mirror, and in this case sometimes pips. That means that we have an array of trinkets that we can get the honorable mention to Midas Talisman, that is really close in single target, but you will need it to get it from the Bolt. The other ones, of course, you will need to get it from Mythic Raid, so it's almost the same. But just to know, of course, Mirror to Fracture Tomorrow's, Branch, and other things are things that you can use, and all of those are strong. You can even use 2 on uses, like for example the Branch and Ember Soul or things. Ember Soul, it's a trinket that is really, let's say, strange. It's good if you can proc the dire situations when you are in cooldowns, but let's just forget about that. That's for something that we will talk in another video. Now, for the builds that we will use. I already talked in the Mythic Plus videos, you can watch that video, as I already told. But now, I'm just going to go fast for the place. So we have the Mythic Plus Dust build. This is the last one that I had shown. That is, in this case, Echoing Reprimand with everything here. Now, as you know, in Mythic Plus, you can use, of course, Tornado if there are a lot of mobs. You can also take Shadow Focus off for the first dance. That gives you a little bit more single target. And do other changes. Of course, for Mythic Plus, you also have Coldblood, that it's also kind of the same. The damage, this is a little bit more AoE. Echoing Reprimand is a little bit more single target. And then T is kind of the balance between the two. And the bad thing is you don't get acrobatic strikes. So take it with a grain of salt, more or less, what you want to do. As for single target, it's the build that it was shown before. This is the highest seeming one, but it's really close also with the T. This means this doesn't change, but you can get the T. Same problem as before, you don't get acrobatic strikes, and it's really close, it's 0 point something. And even if you change some gear with more versatility and mastery, this is kind of good, also because you get free critical strikes from Coldblood. There is also honorable mention to the same thing as before. With Echoing Reprimand, you can also do really funny things like using finishers 3 times in a row. Cool thing, because our talent called Shadowcraft gives us kind of free finishers every so often. Now, that is for the builds that we will use. Now, those are when you already have the tierset. But now let me take a little bit of time when you still don't have the tierset. That means that you still have the old set. You are just going to take this point here from finality to rotten, and then that will be it, more or less. There are things that you could do, like put Goremau also and Perforated Veins, but let's be honest, you are just going to use this build for like 1 or maybe 2 weeks at most. You will be really unlucky if you had to use it for more than 2 weeks. And the only thing that changes is something that I will explain in a video. It will be a short one, and that will be it. For rotational and all the other things, I will explain them in the explanation for rotation video that is going to come just after, but I first need to do some clips and things, so it will take a little bit longer. Well, that will be all, and I hope you're prepared to play on the next 10.2 patch. Any questions, you can always ask. Bye bye.